Hello, sorry to keep you waiting, everybody. But here we are. I'll wait till it hits. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me. Yes, I see your comments over here. Thank you for everybody for being here early, and sorry to keep you waiting a few minutes. But Indiana basketball is ranked 25. If that's true, Nickel Stacker. Yeah, we're going to talk about the game last night, and I'll make a video about the Wisconsin game. I was at both games this weekend. It was a great weekend in Bloomington. Probably like the last really great day of fall was that game because the temperature dropped the next morning on Sunday morning. So it was great to be out there at the Wisconsin game. But we're mainly going to talk about Incarnate Word and how everything went down in the game last night. We just struggled to shoot. And we'll talk about all of the players, maybe like if they should change who's starting, change any of those types of things on this team. But it's yeah, there's definitely just a lot to talk about, like the defense in that game last night. The fact they weren't able to shoot, how often will we have games like this, and so on and so forth, and that 1-3-1 zone and everything like that. But if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button down below. This is Indiana Sports Connection, where the most passionate fans come to talk about the games. I am your residential anchor, Aaron, and hit that thumbs up button. It sends the video out to more Hoosier fans. There's something wrong with YouTube right now with the algorithm or whatever. I've noticed, and I've talked to other creators there, they're not pushing videos. Like I'm not getting the amount of impressions I used to get. They practically are like serve up to my main audience, and then that's it. So I appreciate all that stuff. And if you hype the video, even better, hype the video if you would like to do that. But let's get into talking about this game because Indiana against the Incarnate Word. And yeah, somebody said on Kent Sterling's live stream, it was like, don't play a religious school on a Sunday. It's, Incarnate Word. It's down there in San Antonio. It's a real school with real people that want to really play basketball. And as much as Incarnate Word played tough, but Indiana just got out of sorts in this game really early on. And we'll talk about, Lamar Wilkerson, he was probably the player I was the most disappointed with his performance and everything like that. And I'll pull the stats up here, but he got that second foul early. He got taken out of the game. And it seemed like he did not really, if he is going to play and just be only a shooter, then in games like this where his shot's not going down, if he hangs his head and he doesn't do some of the other things, and he seemed to really kind of lose his ability to want to drive, be aggressive, play defense, rebound, like he's got to do all those little things. He practically got benched in the first half. This team is set up for Tucker DeVries, who was ice cold in this game, even missing some of his shorter shots. This team is set up for those two guys to score, in the 20s every single night. And everybody else is practically like an ancillary role player on this team. So, yeah, when those two dudes are not hitting, this looks like a struggle and it does not look fun. And then suddenly, because you're not hitting shots, the ball, like there was just a lot more of Connerway dribbling around, like one-on-one, the ball just not moving very well, and guys kind of getting trapped into like isolated positions. So we definitely saw the first, and there's no reason to overreact to this game. It's so early on with DeVries and with this team. And, they said it during the game, bringing in there's only seven teams that brought in like a completely all new roster like Indiana didn't return any players, any scoring from last year. So we saw them be really hot and look connected early on, but you're going to get like 1 out of 5 games at least where you're going to just have a bad shooting night. And those games are going to look like this. So what do you got to do in those instances? Now, Indiana still gets the victory. I don't want to sit here and complain. They got the victory by 8 points. The part where they really, like, to me, they really left it and left a lot to be desired was when they went on that run and they went on a 17-2 run. And there was, like, in the last 8 minutes of the game, that's when they really kind of started to fall asleep on defense. Maybe they thought they were just going to coast to an easy victory in this or whatever, but it was not. I don't think they're an experienced enough team to coast to victories, and they just aren't. Um, and you could see how Incarnate Word started to hit some shots, gain some confidence, and it is really hard to, uh, in a way, like, put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's really hard to get re-engaged back in a game once you've kind of already thought that you won. It always happens in ping pong. It always happens to me in ping pong. I'm right at break point 20 to like 8, and then somebody comes right back into the or it happens in reverse, you know. But this is just sports. I mean, you'll have to be on top of everything. And if I was Darren DeVries, I would not throw this away, and I don't think he will. I think this is a great time. He said after the game that, this is it's great to have a win that has a great teaching moment in it, and that you can learn from it in a win, because that is what they have to do from this. They have to learn that you have to come out and play with energy. And they were playing with energy early in the game, but it did seem like a struggle. I don't know if it was just the start time, 5:30 on Sunday. It did seem kind of a weird start time. A lot more of Sunday games are, we saw a lot of Mike Woodson's teams, the noon Sunday games. They were really bad in those at home. They would just come out asleep in those games. But that's no excuse. This team, um, and we'll talk about, I mean, who won the game was Sicily and Alexis. And But Sicily and Alexis, and yeah, leave your comments over here. I will get to the comments in just a minute here. Let me pull these up. But Sicily and Alexis, those dudes made the biggest difference. Sicily makes nice hard cuts. He hit 2 of the 3-pointers. Tucker DeVries only hit 3. He was 3 of 11 in this game, and then Sicily was 2 of 4, I believe. So, I mean, Sicily is huge, and he's not even. I think one thing early in the season I was saying is, like, if Connerway can hit more threes and if Enright can be a more of a spot up shooter. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, one of those dudes, and it's probably going to be Enright, I feel like should go to the bench for the starting role. And I think against teams that maybe have a bigger inside presence, and it's hard to say whether or not you want Alexis to start in the games, but I feel like Alexis has proven that he. It's so weird because Reed Bailey, they've almost had one game where Bailey looks good, and then the next game Alexis looks good, and then the next game Bailey looks good. And Bailey started out this game with that nice screen up top where he got the lob, and that was a great action that they ran right there. But um, yeah, it's just hard to say. Like when you have two guys, because Connerway, obviously he cannot shoot threes, and he needs to get more comfortable. I don't know how he's going to get more comfortable because he's 1 of 9 shooting threes so far, and then Connor Enright is just not making his threes also. So is there is there a world where Sam Alexis and Trent Sicily start on this team with Connerway? I don't know. Like, leave your comments down below. Like, what do you see DeVries? But I will say this: DeVries is really quick to, when somebody is not showing effort or somebody's not showing it out there. I mean, Lamar Wilkerson, he kind of benched him, and I know he had 2 fouls, but um, he did not look like he had it together early on. And DeVries, he seems to pull the strings like right away. Like, as soon as he sees like Reed Bailey is not, he looked like he was just not playing that well in this game, and Sam Alexis came right in right away. So in that way, I like what DeVries is doing with the lineup. Yeah, hopefully they weren't hungover. Hopefully they weren't hanging out, at the tailgates and that Saturday night after the football game. But you know what? They could have been. Let's hope they weren't at casinos or anything like that. And I feel like Darren DeVries is the type of coach where if he found that out, he would definitely be not playing in the first half of the game. But yeah, they look sluggish. They just look slow and sluggish. And I don't know if it was, you don't see the shots go in and then you just kind of lose it. Let's take a look at some of the stats in this game. And I should have had these pulled up already, but yeah, Reed Bailey ended up only 13 minutes uh, in this game, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 7 points. I mean, he needs to be able to produce more than that to be a starter on this team. And then Connor Enright ended up. He is one of our better rebounders. I mean, he gets right into position. Uh, he just seems to have a real knack to just know where the rebounds are going to go when they come off the guy's hand. Because yeah, Enright ended up with he played 33 minutes, had 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and he does it on that. And I mean, he always gets the rebounds and assists. Um, I'm kind of really curious about some of these other guys, like Nick Dorn has played limited, Josiah Miles has played limited, and then we have one other dude that's been hurt and he has not played yet. But I'm just really curious about if we can get some bench help and if any of those guys, as the season progresses, um, because Josiah Miles looks like a really athletic guy that can do some he's just really athletic looking. So, and this team kind of lacks athleticism. If that dude could step in, and I know Connor Enright, he does all the little things right, but could we make an upgrade there? I think he would be a great guy coming off the bench on this team too. I mean, that's really what I'm kind of looking at with this Indiana team. Will everything stay the same as it is right now, or will Sam Alexis start in some of these games coming up, and will we see DeVries kind of like pull some of the strings and try to get some other things going? I don't know if this could have just been a one-off night where Tucker DeVries had a really bad night shooting, and Lamar Wilkerson got those fouls early, and we could not see another game like this for a few weeks. But in a game like this, you definitely have to keep your defensive intensity up. Like they weren't making shots. They did get up by about 20 there in in the second half, and then they really kind of took their foot off the gas and let Incarnate Word back into the game. And they were making some tough shots. I mean, I gotta say, they played that 1-3-1 zone was something that DeVries after the game, and I'll be making a video later in this week, and we'll look at what he said in the press conference and all that stuff because he said they normally played a 2-3 zone, so that really did catch him by surprise that he saw. I mean, very rarely did they ever play a 1-3-1. Um, Indiana didn't seem super bothered by the zone early on. They were getting the ball to Enright in the middle of the zone and kind of having him like dribble through it, and other guys were doing the same. They did have some closely contested shots early on, but then later on, I mean, like Tucker DeVries, he missed some wide open shots, and we saw really a lot of guys just um, average. Um, I just totally lost my train of thought. We just saw a lot of guys like just missing wide open shots in this game. Oh, it's been a long weekend. Driving all the way down there, had a great time. Met up with some people that watched the show at their tailgate. That was a great time with Greg and Amy. So thank you to them for inviting me over there. Um, but I'm going to definitely be making more videos about this as the week goes on. Indiana plays on Thursday We got the bye week in football, but I'll be making a video tomorrow about the Wisconsin game and everything we saw there, and like, how we're going to how Indiana football is really going to have to come together leading up to not just the Purdue game, but the game December 6th. And they got a little bit of time here to do that. And Indiana basketball is in full effect. But tell me what you think about the team and everything. It's just hard to say, like, if this is gonna just be a one-off situation. But I'll tell you, Wilkerson cannot have games like this. That's just him and Reed Bailey. If you're gonna be a starter on Indiana, you gotta show up, and they gotta watch the fouls early in the game. You want to come out and play intense defense. And I know the one foul, DeVries was just screaming about it, because that one foul on Wilkerson when he was driving in the lane, it was just such a ticky tack foul. It really could have went as a no call. The guy kind of flung his arm out towards the end of that play, and it's just when your best shooter is already having kind of a slow start to the night, and then that happens, it just kind of sent the whole team just seemed to go ice cold from shooting distance. And Wilkerson, he really fires the crowd up, and we just didn't see that. I will say this: Tate and Conaway plays incredible defense. He harasses guys. There were a few possessions where we ran the shot clock out on them, and we did, like, early in the game. I was really thinking, right before halftime, it's like, wow, it's like Indiana in this game. I mean, they're not shooting the ball well, but look how they're playing defense and really getting after it. I think Incarnate Word had like 17 points, and it was almost a halftime. And at that point, I thought, well, it's all right. Like, they're not shooting the ball that well, but if you're going to play defense like this and hold a team like Incarnate Word coming into this game, they were a team that I thought would be more of a back and forth, high scoring game, that Incarnate Word would be able to put up a lot of points on Indiana, but not play very tough defense on Indiana. It kind of like It's just funny how different games go in different ways, because this game, it was almost like the opposite. Like, Indiana played tough defense on them. They couldn't score at all, and Indiana struggled to shoot the ball as the game went along as well. So, but I really like his effort out there, Conaway. And this is just like a old Bob Knight type thing. But if you're gonna go up for a dunk, you better make sure you're gonna dunk it, or else just shoot the layup. Because, yeah, missing that dunk in the open court, maybe it doesn't matter in this game, but if you're playing against a big time team and a big time spot, you better lay that ball in and get the 2 points. The most important thing is to make sure the ball goes in the basket. I mean, I don't want to rip on the dude too bad, because he looked very embarrassed after he missed a dunk, and nobody wants to miss a dunk. I get it. But you just better make sure that if you're going to go up for that, you better make sure you're just going to either lay it in or make sure you put the ball in the basket right there. I didn't know that. Yeah, Incarnate Word in Milwaukee. Yeah, I knew Milwaukee was. And yep, and that was true. Yeah, if you missed the dunk, you were like you were like out of the game immediately. I just always remember that as a kid. It's like, if you're Chris Reynolds, don't go up and try to dunk it and try to and hammer it off the back of the rim, or else yeah. Yeah, Dorn did not get much run. And Dorn, they let me get the stats back up here. So Josiah Miles played 6 minutes, and they were absolutely nothing. And Nick Dorn also, he played 4 minutes, um, and had one rebound. Josiah Miles played 6 minutes, had all zeros, no rebounds, no assists, no points. Um, it's But I do think that, like, so far, I mean, Josiah Miles looks like the kind of guy that could really, really do some. Yeah, Josh Harris is the other guy who I believe he's listed as a guard, but he's got like a really thick body on him that can like do some rebounding and things inside. So I don't know. We will see. it's still early in the season. Indiana's 4-0. I think, this was, and I hate to say it, it was a Woody-esque performance by this team. I mean, it got a little bit slow at times. It got a little bit wonky, just kind of a slowed down feeling, and the ball wasn't moving. We weren't scoring as many points, but I do think that if we had last year's coaching and last year's um, team, we would have lost this game because of just our lack of effort on the defensive end. And that's why I did want to bring up, the way that Conaway was playing on defense in the first half, and and everybody really was putting the effort in there everywhere. They gave up, and the announcer mentioned this during the game when I rewatched it. It's like he was saying how we gave up those offensive rebounds early in the game, and then um, we didn't give up any more. It's like we gave up 5 offensive rebounds early in the game. They ended up with 8, and Indiana really flipped the script on that on them. That is the one thing, rebounding and turnovers. I would like to see this Indiana team, and I know they've been up on guys denying the ball, but getting more steals, more deflections, should I say, being more disruptive on the defensive end before teams can get the ball down low. Indiana's going to have to do that. And they're going to win the Big Ten. They're going to have to try to, the way they're going to have to try to play defense is just keep the ball out of the post. I mean, whatever they can do to keep the ball out of the post as much as possible, or, that Sam Alexis is a guy who looks strong enough. He'll be able to, push his guy like out of the lane. I don't know if Reed Bailey would be able to do that in the Big Ten. I mean, we will struggle in the Big Ten against certain teams, but that's where I just wonder if it's better for Sam Alexis to start on this team. And he played a great game. I mean, Sam Alexis, you rarely have. I mean, the bench scored 25 points in this game. You rarely have a guy come off the bench, play 27 minutes, have 8 rebounds, 1 assist, and 16 points. And then Trent Sicily comes off the bench, plays 20 minutes, has 8 rebounds also. So you're two bench guys about out rebounded the entire team. So those 2 guys had 16 rebounds between the 2 of them. And Trent Sicily had 10 points. And Sam Alexis was 16. So that was great of those dudes. And you're just going to struggle. DeVries ends up, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 14 points. And he missed some wide open 3-pointers. But the main thing, Lamar Wilkerson, 27 minutes, 2 rebounds, 0 assists. He had, when he was engaged in, it was like the last game against Milwaukee or the game before. And that was when he was, said to reporters afterwards and stuff like, he was a point guard in high school. Dude, you can still make those passes and stay engaged and do all that stuff, even if you're not making the shots. That's what I would want to see out of him, is that he cannot play 27 minutes in a game like this against a team like this and only have 2 rebounds, 0 assists, and 9 points. And that's just unacceptable, really, for a guy who's going to be your go-to guy. And I think he will learn. I think he'll learn from this. I think Darren DeVries will coach these guys up. I think they want to be coached hard, and I think DeVries will get it together with these guys. Totals on the day, I mean, 5 of 24 on threes, 20%, and 18 of 26 on free throws. They've sloughed off a little bit the last couple of games on free throws and been missing some. So you want to see that the emphasis that, like, just because we were good at it a couple of games, I don't know what's happening now, but I mean, that's 69%. I want to see it at 75, like as a team. I think if you shoot 75, if your guards are shooting in the high 80s and you got a couple of other big guys that might shoot around 60%, if your team shoots around 75%, like, I'm satisfied with that. Anything above is almost like, but just kind of strange that all of a sudden they didn't make free throws in a couple of games. They out rebounded them 37 to 27, and offensive rebounds. See, they got They only ended up with 6, and they got like 5 of those real early in the game. And then we ended up with 12 offensive rebounds. The And turnovers, Indiana had 9 turnovers, they had 7 turnovers. So, not I'm like not trying to really overreact to this, but there are definitely things that I think DeVries is going to take from this game and make the team better from it, really. And you know, I hate to say that this type of thing is necessary, just like the Penn State win in football, but in sports, this type of thing happens. It is necessary because you do have to kind of go back to the drawing board a little bit. And they have his systems already set up. It's more getting inside the heads of the players that you have so that you know, okay, like when this guy's acting this way before a game or acting this way, maybe he doesn't have the energy. Like, how do I motivate this guy? Like, how do I motivate Lamar Wilkerson when that happens early on? And DeVries, he brings a lot of energy to the bench. You know, in the press conferences and stuff, he seems very laid back, but I mean, he is always clapping it up. He's always yelling like, "We need to stop! We need to stop!" And he's always vocal, and the players he has are vocal, talking to each other. So I think they'll learn from this and they will move on. But yep, you gotta go through some crap before you really get anywhere, you know. And I definitely might do that leading up to the playoffs because yeah, leading up to the Big Ten championship and after that, we're gonna have a ton of stuff to talk about with the football. If either Enright, Conaway can't be respected as shooters, yeah, it's gonna start getting much tougher for our school. That's true. I mean, one of those dudes has to step up. I mean, I've seen Enright's got a decent shot. He just has to knock him down. I don't like Conaway when he shoots from a little bit further away. I don't know. He takes his hand off the ball and almost shoots it one-handed. I don't know what's going on there. If he's just too far away and he can't really like get it all the way there, so it's a struggle. But yeah, we need like another dude in our starting lineup to be a guy that is gonna be able to shoot as well, and that'll make us that much more dynamic. And I thought, early on in the season, DeVries was talking up Enright and everything like that. But I got to get off of here. I have to pick my daughter up from school. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. Hoosiers will get it done Thursday. Another game to look forward to, and they can right all the wrongs of this game on Thursday and right the ship. They got a few more games before that Kansas State game, but thank you so much for joining me today on Indiana Sports Connection. Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans.